Jacqueline Bisset was once hailed as the world's most seductive English lover. But behind that beauty was something far more complex. She was danger wrapped in silk, turning down billionaires, defying traditions, and calling marriage nothing more than a cage to trap women. Her lovers were powerful, her standards untouchable. Yet in the end, she never married or had children. Why? Recently, she revealed the reason. And it's even more shocking than the words once spoken by her own father. Join us in this video as we uncover the explosive stories behind Jacqueline Bisset's extraordinary life. Born in 1944 in a quiet English countryside, young Jacqueline had no idea she would spend more than 60 years in front of the camera, or that her life would become a long entanglement of love, desire, and heartbreak. Some say her yearning for independence stemmed from her parents' divorce. They separated in 1968 after nearly 3 decades together, a rupture that seemed silent on the surface but left a deep scar on their daughter's soul. Many believe that shock shaped Jacqueline's independent, private, and somewhat rebellious nature. Yet what few realize is that by the time the divorce happened, she was already a rising star, mature enough to begin writing her own story, but still too young to escape the fractures that would follow. The biggest turning point came in 1967, when Jacqueline landed her fateful role in The Sweet Ride. The film not only allowed her to break free from the usual mold of an English actress, but also brought her a passionate romance, one that would haunt her for years to come. On set, she met Michael Sarrazin, the Canadian actor with a rugged charm, sharp features, and an irresistible allure. Between them, no introduction was needed. Their eyes met, hearts stirred. What followed was a wordless love song that lasted 7 years. Intense, tender, yet riddled with torment. Close friends often describe them as a couple destined to blend, but never meant to last forever. Michael gave Jacqueline gentleness, while she gave him an anchor in the turbulent world of showbiz. In the early 1970s, they appeared together at countless events. Never flashy, never scandalous, but always enough to let the world know they belonged to each other. She once confessed in an interview, "I didn't come to Hollywood out of ambition. I stayed because I loved a man." A statement that left millions of hearts trembling, and everyone knew that man was Michael. But then, in 1974, it all ended. There was no official statement, no tears splashed across the press. Just the quiet understanding of two people who knew all too well that love doesn't always outlast time. Hollywood buzzed with rumors. Some claimed Jacqueline had been betrayed. Others insisted she was the one who walked away first. The truth was hard to know, for in a world where every embrace, every smile was exaggerated, the truth was often the first thing buried. After the breakup, Jacqueline drifted into a series of relationships, each man like the wind, arriving quickly, leaving just as fast, yet always leaving behind a lingering echo. In 1972, she was spotted with Ryan O'Neal, the love story star then at the height of his career. They strolled together like lovers, exchanging more glances than words. Rumors, of course, erupted. Though never confirmed, every time they appeared in public together, the tabloids had all the reason they needed to splash headlines across the front page. That same year, Jacqueline traveled to France to film Day for Night with director François Truffaut, a legend known not only for his cinematic vision, but also for his easily stirred heart. Rumors swirled that his relationship with Jacqueline was more than professional. Stories were told of tense moments, lingering glances, and unspoken emotions. But Jacqueline wore her silence like armor. For her, whatever feelings may have existed, if they were real at all, were nothing more than a brief stop along a weary journey. The gossip mill churned again in 1973, this time linking her to John Peters, the ambitious hairdresser who would later become a Hollywood producer. For a short while, Peters pursued Jacqueline with the same intensity he brought to everything he did. Yet while he was captivated by her beauty, Jacqueline was not easily impressed. If something did happen between them, it never lasted long. Still, the tabloids had plenty of fuel to inflate the story, splashing headlines about this fleeting affair, and eagerly turning sparks into scandal. By 1974, Jacqueline and Michael finally ended their 7-year romance. After the breakup, she was at the height of her fame and had become one of the most desired women in the world. Nearly every man longed for a chance to stand by her side. It was in this context that Victor Drai, a sophisticated Moroccan-born businessman, entered her life. Unlike her relatively private relationship with Michael, Jacqueline made no effort to hide this one. She openly walked arm in arm with Victor in Beverly Hills, attended film premieres together, and laughed freely in front of cameras at glamorous parties. Victor, who had built a career in fashion, was so taken by Jacqueline that he gave it all up, moving permanently to the United States just to be with her. He would later admit in an interview, "Jacqueline changed my entire life." But Jacqueline had never associated love with marriage. She called it a cage, something that imprisoned her free spirit. Victor, on the other hand, longed for stability, for a lasting home. Two strong personalities, two opposing views of love. And so, in 1980, they chose to part ways, just as Jacqueline had once walked away from Michael. During her time with Victor, Jacqueline was not immune to rumors. In 1976, the press buzzed with talk of her and actor Nick Nolte. Just one instance of the two being spotted chatting intimately at a party was enough for stories to spread that they had left together. No photos, no proof, yet it was more than enough to stir public curiosity. Later, as her relationship with Victor began to falter, Jacqueline once again became the subject of new gossip, this time involving Sean Ferrer, the son of the legendary Audrey Hepburn. What shocked the public wasn't just Sean's youth, but also the fact that Jacqueline had long admired Audrey. The age gap and the complicated context of her current relationship turned the story into a hot topic for tabloids. But Jacqueline, as always, chose silence, letting the world speculate. The rumors didn't stop there. By the 1980s, the name Candice Bergen surfaced alongside Jacqueline in shocking headlines. Hollywood at the time was still far too rigid about same-sex relationships, so whispers of a brief but intense romance between Jacqueline and Candice left many stunned. There were no photos, no witnesses, only word of mouth. Yet the rumors spread all the same, fueled by Jacqueline's own candid admission that her love life was never confined by gender or logic. That very statement made the public believe that something with Candice may indeed have happened. Just a year after parting ways with Victor, Jacqueline unexpectedly found a new love. This time with a man who carried both the brilliance and the shadows of his past, Alexander Godunov, the Russian ballet dancer turned actor. At that point, Alex had just defected from the Soviet Union, embodying freedom, yet burdened with deep loneliness. He had left behind a celebrated career in his homeland, as well as a wife who, unable to endure her own homesickness, returned home. Alex chose to stay in America, but found himself lost in an endless void, uncertain of how to move forward. It was in that fragile moment that Jacqueline appeared. They met in New York, and from the very first instant, she said it felt as though she had known him her entire life. Perhaps it was their shared passion for dance that drew them together. Jacqueline had studied ballet as a child, and in Alex she saw both a reflection of her youthful memories and her yearning for freedom. In Jacqueline's home, they built a simple happiness, one bound tightly by their deep connection. But that happiness would not last. Hollywood was not an easy path for Alex. He clung to his distinctive Russian accent, fiercely loyal to his identity, but this unintentionally slowed his career. Worse still, whispers spread that Jacqueline's star power overshadowed him, reducing him to nothing more than a shadow beside her radiance. The weight of pressure, insecurity, and despair dragged him down. Jacqueline tried to save him. She watched as the proud, tall, magnetic man she had loved slowly succumbed to cigarettes and alcohol. In a desperate attempt to preserve their love, Alex proposed marriage. But in that moment, Jacqueline realized he didn't need a wife. He needed a rebirth, something she could not give him. The proposal, rather than opening a new chapter, only deepened the sense of hopelessness between them. Perhaps, had Alex not been in such a dark place, Jacqueline might have, for the first time, considered marriage. In the end, they parted on peaceful terms. And when Alex died at just 45, Jacqueline's heart broke once again. As that 7-year chapter of her life closed, Jacqueline moved forward, continuing to find success in her acting career. In 1988, while taking on a role in a French film, Jacqueline unexpectedly crossed paths with Vincent Perez, a young actor on the rise. The nearly 2-decade age gap did nothing to diminish the attraction between them. Vincent was genuinely captivated by Jacqueline, while she, as always, was drawn to his youthful energy and passion. They shared months of intense romance, but the whirlwind pace of life between Hollywood and Europe made it nearly impossible for their love to endure. By 1992, they quietly parted ways. No drama, no scandal. Still, for Vincent, Jacqueline remained an unforgettable memory. Later, Vincent entered a high-profile romance with Carla Bruni, and when that relationship ended in scandal, he candidly told Cosmopolitan, "I don't think I want to date celebrities anymore." Perhaps that sentiment was an echo of his time with Jacqueline, a woman he loved deeply but could never truly hold on to. For Jacqueline, Vincent was only the beginning of a series of romantic adventures with younger men. 2 years later, she began dating Emin Boztepe, a German-Turkish Wing Chun martial artist and well-known bodyguard. No one knew exactly how they first met. Some speculated Jacqueline had been seeking a personal trainer, and from there, love blossomed. Whatever the case, the relationship quickly flourished despite their age difference and contrasting lifestyles. Even after they separated, Jacqueline remained sensitive to the derogatory labels aimed at Emin, such as gigolo. She defended him openly, proving her feelings had been anything but superficial. At times, the two were even spotted together long after their breakup, and in 2007 they briefly reunited. For Jacqueline, it was a complicated yet deeply emotional relationship, one where she never allowed public opinion to dictate her choices. Throughout these years, Jacqueline retained her timeless beauty, growing more alluring with age. She refused to conform to Hollywood's rigid expectations that a leading lady should quickly settle down, remarry, or rely on a man for stability. Her independence left many bewildered. As a result, the press never stopped weaving rumors around her love life. One of the names that stirred speculation was Chevy Chase, the American comedian known for his wild energy and scandalous personal life. There was no concrete proof, but the idea of pairing an independent Jacqueline with a rebellious Chevy seemed too tempting for the public to dismiss. Then there was Kirk Kerkorian, the billionaire MGM mogul and a man of immense wealth and power. Unlike her younger lovers, Kerkorian was older, calmer, and their relationship was so secretive that not a single photo of them together exists. Still, tabloids persisted, even spreading a tale that he once left Jacqueline stranded in Paris because she refused to board his private jet back to the US. Another name that fueled curiosity was Schizzi, a notorious Italian playboy of Europe's high society in the 1960s and 1970s. If their romance did happen, it was certainly short but intense, very much in Jacqueline's style, to live fully in the moment, then let the wind carry it away. Today, at 81, Jacqueline lives quietly, no longer tied to any public relationship. For over 2 decades, she has chosen a private life, far from the noise. What continues to intrigue the public is that Jacqueline has never married or had children. In an interview, when asked if she regretted not settling down as society expected, she smiled and said, "Marriage never really interested me." In another moment, she was even more candid. "I'm afraid of the word forever. With every relationship, I've always tried to sustain it, but I never thought marriage was the best solution." Perhaps it is this very philosophy, loving deeply but without chains, that shaped Jacqueline into something unique, a symbol of seduction and independence, a woman who always followed her own path, no matter the judgment.